Good morning. Check. Oh yeah, we're in business. All right, let's get this draft sim screen up here, shall we? All right. I think we're finally ready here. Let's do it. So, I have not looked super closely at Kamigawa. So hopefully we'll get a chance to do that now. See if we can. All right. So we got, what, a mythic here? Explosive Singularity, 10 mana. It's an additional cost to cast it. Tap any number of untapped creatures you control. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature tapped this way. Sounds like Convoke. Deals 10 damage to any target. Wow. That's a pretty nasty finisher. Yeah, I'd say you could first pick that and feel pretty good about it. Good way to finish the game, I would think. All right. We got Invigorating Hot Spring in here. 3 mana. Enchantment. It enters with 4+1/+1 counters. Modified creatures you control have haste. You can remove a +1/+1 counter from it. Put it on a creature you control. That still seems like a good card to me. I like that. You can only do it once a turn, but giving him haste too is actually pretty cool. I like that. All right, Prodigy's Prototype. 3 mana, 3/4. Whenever one or more vehicles you control attack, create a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token with this creature cruise vehicles, as though its power were 2 or greater. Were 2 greater, not 2 or greater, 2 greater. Interesting. That's a cool card, though. So you crew it and you start spitting out 1/1s that can crew other vehicles. It's pretty slick. Hi, Jules. All right, next we got Circuit Mender. It enters the game 2. It leaves, you draw a card. These cards are typically pretty good and limited. Colorless. Doesn't commit you to anything. Comes in, does something, dies, does something. And leaves the battlefield, no less. Not even a death. I like that. All right, next we have Jukai Preserver. 4 mana, 3/3. Enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And then you can channel it and put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures you control. Can you only do channel as a sorcery? No, I can't remember. It doesn't have reminder text on it. Virus Beetle, 2 mana, 1/1. Enters the battlefield. Each opponent discards a card. I would think you'd only be able to channel at a sorcery. If you can channel at instant speed, that's a pretty amazing card. You can channel at instant speed? Wow, that card's really good. So it's a combat trick that leaves permanent +1/+1 counters, or it's a 4 mana 3/3 that can put a counter on itself, so it's at worst a 4 mana 4/4. Card seems amazing. Unless channel is like you just discard it and you get that effect, right? That's what channel is, basically. So Virus Beetle is basically just Ravenous Rats, but now an artifact insect creature. That's cool. Wow. Yeah, I like that Jukai Preserver. Virus Beetle, possibly playable. Depends on how many graveyard shenanigans there are, really. It can be useful, though. Actually, Virus Beetle's good probably because of ninjutsu. It's a creature you play, they discard, you attack with it, you ninjutsu, you bring it back to your hand, you can make them discard again. That's pretty good. Saiba Trespassers. 5 mana, 3/5. It channels. Tap up to 2 target creatures you don't control. They don't untap during the controller's next untap step. Still pretty good. Moth Rider Patrol. 1 mana, 1/1. Flyer. 4 and tap. You can tap a creature. Crackling Emergence. Enchant land. You control lands a 3/3 red spirit creature with haste. If the land would be destroyed and said sacrifice Crackling Emergence, and that land gains indestructible until end of turn. It's kind of cool. So you don't really lose your land. I like it. I assume destroyed means the same as died if it's a creature. Because don't they use the word died now? Like if it died? I don't know. Clawing Torment. 1 mana. Chant artifact or creature. As long as it's a creature, it gets -1/-1. It can't block. And it has at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. That's a cool card. It's really nasty if you put it on like a 1/2 or a 1. If you put it on a 1 power creature. That's a cool way to. It's like just a cool win con, basically. Yeah, I like that. Gift of Wrath, 4 mana, chant artifact or creature. As long as this creature gets +2/+2 and has menace. When it leaves the battlefield, create a 2/2 red spirit creature token with menace. So it's an aura that buffs, and then when the creature dies, you get a 2/2 red spirit with menace. I mean, these kind of auras definitely tend to be more playable. This reminds me of, I forget the name of it, Elephant something, Elephant Graveyard, or can't remember. But Spirit of Elephant, some sort of thing like that was similar to this. It was like a 4 mana enchant +3/+3, and then when it died, you get a 3/3 elephant. This is pretty similar. And I believe that was pretty playable at the time. Greater Tanuki, 6 mana, 6/5, trample, and then you can channel it. get a land and ramp instead. It's a cool card. I'm sure it's going to be playable. It's a ramp fixer or a win con with trample. Definitely playable. Undercity Scrounger. So 3 mana, create treasures. But you can only do it if a creature died this turn. Okay, so it's got like a little morbid ability, but it taps and creates treasures. That's pretty cool. Got Era of Enlightenment, so now we have Common Sagas too. 2 mana, comes in, scries 2, you gain 2 life. Then you get a 2/2 first strike. Card seems excellent. I like that. All right. I would go with the Singularity. 10 damage. This is a sweet finisher. Like, I would imagine in the mid to late game, you're probably often going to be able to cast this for like, 5 mana probably. No. Maybe more like 7 mana. Either way. 10 damage is a lot of damage. All right, follow-up pick. So Thirst for Knowledge. This is a reprint. 3 mana, draw 3, discard 2 unless you discard an artifact card. That's going to be really awesome in the set because I think there's a lot of equipment and artifact creatures. Futurist Operative, 4 mana, 3/4. As long as it's tapped, it's a human citizen with base power and toughness 1/1 and can't be blocked. And then you can untap it. Oh, wow. That's a well-designed card. I like that. So, comes in, it attacks as a 1/1 that can't be blocked. But you can, after blocking phase, you can pay 3, untap it. You have a 3/4 blocker still, and it just attacked for 3 unblockable damage. And it gives you like free ninjutsu setup. The card seems excellent. Rabbit Battery. This is the new reconfigure mechanic. So it's a 1 mana 1/1 haste. And it gives +1/+1 in haste for the reconfigure cost of 1, which is probably a pretty awesome card too. So reconfigure is basically, it's a creature and an artifact at the same time. I like that. Fade into Antiquity, 3 mana, exile an artifact or enchantment. This is definitely going to be main deckable in this format. We already saw enchantment creature, we saw artifacts. There's going to be plenty of that. Repel the Vile. All right, 4 mana, exile a creature with power 4 or greater, exile an enchantment. Definitely still playable in here. Enchantments, it looks like there's a lot of them. Aki Warpaint. 1 mana, enchant artifact or creature. As long as enchant permanent is a creature, gets +2/+1. Not terribly exciting, but I imagine some all-in decks are probably going to jam it. The fact that you can stick it on vehicles is kind of cool. Moonsnare Prototype. 1 mana, artifact. Tap an untapped artifact or creature you control. Add colorless, and then you can channel it. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it on the bottom or top of their library. So that's cool. So it can be like a blue ramp, or it can be like a Griptide style effect. That's pretty cool. Kaito's, there's a lot of dual ability stuff in this format. Kaito's Pursuit, 3 mana. Target player discards 2 cards. Ninjas and rogues control gain menace until end turn. That's cool. I like it. Better Mind Rot. Sky Swimmer Koi, 4 mana, 3/3 flyer. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So it lets you loot whenever artifacts enter. It's definitely a useful card. It's got flying, and it's pretty good cost for it. Grafted Growth, 3 mana. Enters, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature or vehicle you control. Channel land as add 2 mana of any one color. These typically are not that exciting of cards, but 2 abilities, ramp fix, and buff something is okay. I'm probably not going to play it that much, I'm assuming. Thundersteel Colossus, 7 mana, 7/7, trample haste vehicle with crew 2. It's kind of cool if you can afford it. And then Befriending the Moths. These common sagas, jeez. So this one is Target creature you control gets +1/+1 against flying until end of turn twice, and then it comes back and it's a 2/4 flying moth, or insect rather. And then this really sweet looking land. I could try out the rabbit battery. I mean, it's also, I guess the problem with it is it's kind of, I guess it's easy to kill, but I mean, if they're using a removal spell on your 1-mana 1/1, it's not that big of a deal. And actually, a 1-mana equip, essentially, is pretty cheap for that effect. Let's give it a try. It's also good with Singularity. You get dual effect on that. All right. Naomi, Pillar of Order. So 5-mana 4/4. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, if you control an artifact and an enchantment, create a 2/2 white samurai. This is like a themed ability I think we've seen a few times in this format. I think we'll see. So if you control an artifact and enchantment, you get these samurais with vigilance. It's pretty slick. It's pretty slick. Comes in and gets that, or attacks. I mean, that's a strong card. Mobilizer Mech, 2-mana. I mean, this thing presumably just spits out 2/2 samurais with vigilance all the time. That's really good. Mobilizer Mech, 2-mana 3/4 flying. When it becomes crewed, another target vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Wow, that's a cool card. That's really cool. So if you're like a vehicle-centric deck, this can just, like, it could turn on that 7-mana 7/7 trampler, haste, whatever. It's pretty strong. Shrine Steward, 5-mana 3/2. When it enters battlefield, search your library for an aura or shrine card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. So really not a bad card at all. Like, it's expensive, and you only get a 3/2 out of it, but it's an artifact, so it's colorless. And letting you search for cards is typically good, especially auras. So in a saga set, lets you find sagas. I haven't even seen the shrines yet. So far, I've been pretty impressed with all the cards we've looked at. There's only been a couple that are not that great. Imperial Subduer, 3-mana 3/2. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, tap target creature you don't control. It's kind of cool. Feels like it could attack well, and it turns on your other samurais and warriors. Seems okay to me. Kami of Industry, 5-mana 3/6. When it enters the battlefield, return target artifact card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So, okay. Get a one-time effect out of your graveyard artifacts again with mana value 3 or less. This is a little oddly specific, but might be useful. Saiba, Trespassers. We saw that one already. Season of Renewal, 3-mana. Instant. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. So there's a similar one in Crimson Vow to this. Retrieve or Retrieval, whatever it's called. And it's only marginally useful in my opinion. I didn't think it was that great, but there's a lot more enchantments in this set. So getting your sagas back. Season of Renewal probably more legit in this format, especially if there's common sagas. You Are Already Dead, 1-mana black instant, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn, draw a card. That's actually a very good card. I feel like all-in aggro probably can afford to just keep attacking in. They put up a big blocker. You're willing to throw away something. You're willing to trade a creature and this card and draw to kill their whatever they're blocking with. It's kind of useful. Crackling Emergence we saw already. Planar Incision, 2-mana instant, exile a artifact or creature, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Well, they get it back, so a little less useful. But I guess you can do it on your own dudes to buff them and be... So, at least a sideboardable anti-removal card. Fade into Antiquity you saw, and then we've got another common saga here. So gain control of target creature until end of turn, untap it against haste. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. And then it comes back as a 3/3 trample haste. That's cool. I mean, all the sagas are pretty exciting. I kind of feel like Naomi is the pick here, even though I picked 2 red cards now, just because this effect seems really good to me. But you do have to have an artifact and an enchantment in order to even make the samurais, so could just take the saga as well. But, I mean, these effects are not that busted. Probably just take the strongest card here in Naomi. All right, wow, and then we're past a mythic. Spirit Sister's Call, 5-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, choose target permanent card in your graveyard. You may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with the chosen card. If you do, return the chosen card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it gains if this permanent would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. So, kind of a weird card. Beginning of your end step, you get cards back from your graveyard, but you have to sack something that's the same as it. And if that thing that you brought back dies that time, then it's exiled. Huh. I mean, it definitely seems like a powerful effect late in the game. We got Essence Capture here. Counter a creature spell. Put a counter, +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. That's a useful card, definitely. This is a reprint too, I believe. Historian's Wisdom, 3 mana. Enchant an artifact or creature. When it enters, if enchanted permanent is a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield, draw a card. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +2/+1. That's a cool card. So it can be an aura that draws you a card and buffs the thing up, because it buffs it right away too. Reinforced Ronin, 1 mana, 2/2 haster. At the beginning of your end step, you return it to its owner's hand, and then you can discard it. You basically can cycle it. Reckoner's Bargain, 2 mana instant. Additional cost, sack an artifact or creature. You gain life equal to the sacrifice permanent's mana value and draw 2 cards. That's cool. I like this. I definitely think you could play this in limited. Intercessor's Arrest, 3 mana, enchant permanent. Can't attack, block, or crew vehicles. Its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So it's a new arrest, except it can target vehicles too, and anything. It's an enchant permanent. It's a cool card. I mean, it can even target planeswalkers. Cool card. Definitely useful removal. Mirror Shell Crab, 7 mana, 5/7, ward 3. You can discard it, counter a spell or ability unless its controller pays 3. So it's a counter spell for spells or abilities, and it's a win con ward 3 crab. It's a cool card. I like that. There's so many dual effect cards already in this format. This is going to be a crazy one. Golden Tail Disciple, 3 mana, 2/3 lifelink. It's an enchantment creature too, so useful for Naomi style abilities. Searchlight Companion, 3 mana, 1/1 flyer. When it enters, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. So 2 bodies in 1, one of them flies. Not bad. Armguard Familiar. 2 mana, 2/1, ward 2. Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and has ward 2. And that's the reconfigure. That's a cool card, especially at common. Doesn't this card seem kind of complicated for a common? Wow. Geothermal Kami, 4 mana, 4/3. When it enters, return an enchantment card you control to its owner's hand. If you do, you gain 3 life. So you get, maybe do it on your saga to start that little clock over, do the effect again. It's kind of cool. Here I'd would I just take the mythic? I mean, this is a weird effect though. It is cool. You can sack a weak creature to get a strong creature back. It's not bad. Or otherwise we just take Intercessor's Arrest. I'd probably just take the mythic because it's mythic and give it a try. Alright. Okiba's Salvage, 5 mana, sorcery. Return a creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on that permanent if you control an artifact and an enchantment. So it's a res card that comes back bigger if you control an artifact or enchantment. Okay. Network Disruptor, 1 mana, 1/1 flyer. When it enters, tap a permanent. Can be useful for tempo builds. Kindled Fury is a reprint. +1/+0 and first strike until in turn for 1 red. Kami of Terrible Secrets. 4 mana, 3/4. When it enters, if you control an artifact and enchantment, you draw a card and you gain 1 life. Okay. Definitely good. Potential 4 mana, 3/4 body plus draw cards, gain life. Gain life in black, no less, with no drain or anything. Just straight up black gain life. I mean, how often does that even happen? I didn't even know that was something black could do. Gain life without draining or doing anything like that. That's cool. Light the Way. 1 mana instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle. Untap it. Return target permanent you control to its owner's hand. So, combat trick that untaps. Definitely going to be played for 1 mana. Untap my thing. It's bigger permanently. Block your dude. Kill it. Great card. Also anti-removal. Yeah, that's useful. Seen Season of Renewal. Moon Circuit Hacker. 2 mana, 2/1. It's got ninjutsu. So this is the first ninjutsu card we've seen. So ninjutsu is return an unblocked attacker you control to your hand, and then you put this card onto the battlefield from your hand tapped and attacking. So when it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So discard a card unless it entered the battlefield this turn. That's cool. That's a great card. So it ninjutsus and you just get to draw a card if it deals damage to a player. I like that. That's a good card. Kami of Restless Shadows, 5 mana, 3/3. When it enters, you can return a ninja or rogue creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Put a creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. This definitely seems good. It's a graveyard, rather a grave digger effect for ninjas or rogues. I guess that's an advisor. But it also can just get you creatures back. That definitely seems like a useful card, albeit expensive. Nizumi Blade Blesser, 3 mana, 3/2. Has Death Touch as long as you control an artifact. Menace as long as you control an enchantment. Death Touch Menace is a nice ability mashup. And then Jukai Trainee, 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever it blocks or becomes blocked, it gets +1/+1 until in turn. Which was Bushido, which I guess they weren't willing to reprint. So what do I like the most here? I think I'm looking at probably a 4-drop here. I mean, granted, I'm a little more interested in my black-white now. Blade Blesser is pretty cool too, but I like this Kami of Terrible Secrets. If I'm able to, we just really need to go for more artifacts and enchantments, I think. All right, Invoke Calamity. Here you go. 5 mana instant. Cast up to 2 instant or sorcery spells with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard and or hand without paying their mana cost. If those spells would be put into your graveyard, exile them instead. This is pretty build around, so probably not that good in limited. Experimental Synthesizer, 1 mana red artifact. When it enters or leaves, exile the top card of your library. Until in turn, you may play that card. Sacrifice. Experimental Synthesizer. You get to make a 2/2 White Samurai creature token with Vigilance. So you can only do it as a sorcery, though. It's a cool card because you sack it and then you get to exile the top card of your library again. I like that. Shrine Steward, we've seen already. Allows you to find your auras or shrine, so it can find Spirit Sister's Call, and it also is an artifact for like the Naomi or Kami ability, so that's cool. Kitsune's 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever vehicles you control attack, you can give them first strike, or you can untap this card. That's cool. I like the picture too. Dokuchi Shadow Walker, 6 mana, 5/5. It's got ninjutsu 4. Seems okay. Potentially can play it as a 4 mana, 5/5 tapped and attacking creature. It's probably pretty good. Arm Guard Familiar we've seen. We saw the Hacker. Network Terminal, 3 mana, taps, ramps, or 1 tap another artifact, untapped artifact creature you control, draw a card and discard. Okay. Not bad. So it's like a loot effect or a ramp. I think that's useful. Dismal Backwater, Common Fixing, and then Chain Flail Centipede, 3 mana, 2/2. Whenever it or equipped creature attack, it's a reconfigure creature. It gets +2/+0 until in turn. Wait a second. So when this attacks a 4/2, or it can reconfigure and let something else attack with +2/+0. That's a cool card. I might take that just because we're already a little clunky if we're sticking to that plan. And this thematically fits with what we're trying to do, seeing as it's an artifact as well. All right. Discover the impossible. 3 mana instant. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Exile one of them face down. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost if it's an instant spell with mana value 2 or less. If you don't, put that card into your hand. Weird. So look at top 5. Exile one of them. You can cast it for free if it's an instant spell with mana value 2 or less. Otherwise, put it in your hand. Well, it seems playable to me. It's only draw 1, but it's look at top 5. And potentially, or you could use like a removal spell. I could see playing it. Scrapyard, Steelbreaker, 4 mana, 3/4, second artifact. It gets +2/+1 until in turn. It's kind of cool. I think in the right deck, this could be really strong. Crazy picture. So we saw the Blade Blesser already. We saw the Mirror Shell Crab. Regent's Authority, 1 mana instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until in turn if it's an enchantment creature or legendary creature. Instead, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gets +1/+1 until in turn. Okay. We don't have any enchantment creatures, but we do have a legend. Imperial Oath, 6 mana. Create 3 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with vigilance, and you get to scry 3. Okay. Hockey Warpaint. We saw that already. And Kami of Terrible Secrets. Well, what do I like the most here? Another Kami, another 4-drop. I guess that only brings me up to 2 4-drops. It's probably okay. This Blade Blesser potentially is very good in this style of deck, though. But I think the Kami of Terrible Secrets has got to be better if we're trying to build around this plan. All right, Brilliant Restoration. All right, return all artifact and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not that useful for limited, I would think. Probably not terrible, since there's a lot of artifact and enchantments, but it's not like it's low cost to do that effect either. Enormous Energy Blade, 3 mana. Equip creature gets +4/+0. Whenever it becomes attached to a creature, you have to tap the creature. Okay. And equips for 2. I mean, +4/+0 is big, but tap it so you don't even get to attack with it right away. That's quite the downside. Gift of Wrath, we saw that. Moth Rider Patrol, we saw. Lethal Exploit. 2 mana instant. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. It gets an additional -1/-1 until end of turn for each modified creature you controlled as you cast this spell. Still useful. At worst, 2 mana, -2/-2. Instant speed. I like it. Suit Up. Till end of turn, target creature or vehicle becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/5. Draw. And then Okiba Reckoner Raid. So each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, and then it comes back as a 2/2 menace. That gives all your vehicles menace. It's a cool card. And it works well with what we're trying to do. However, I probably go with the removal here for 2 mana. That's my assumption. Can never have enough removal, right? And we have 0 removal right now, so. All right, we can take the Virus Beetle. I think I'm fine with that. Or we can take the Clawing Torment. Scrounger is kind of cool. It blocks well too. Or we can take the Air of Enlightenment. This might make the most sense, actually. I mean, Clawing Torment is a cool card, but it's probably better if we're beat down. Although it also counts as an enchantment. That is nice. We've got a good enchantment artifact count going right now. I would think Virus Beetle's at its best in a ninjutsu style deck, which we still could be too. I'm kind of liking this Air of Enlightenment though. I'm going to take this. Scry 2, gain 2 life, get a 2/2 first strike. I guess you lose the enchantment though too at some point. That's true. Probably still take it. All right. So Repel the Vial, we saw already. Probably some pretty main deckable removal, I would think. Or we could take the Thundersteel Colossus. I'm going to go with the Repel the Vial and see if it's actually... assume it's playable. Here, maybe just take the red card in case. Searchlight Companion is cool because you get 2 bodies and they're both... actually, the spirit you get is not an artifact. It's just a colorless token. I could take the Reckoner's Bargain as well. Usually 2 bodies in 1 is good, though. Especially when you get an artifact out of the deal. Alright. Well, we're wheeling black cards. That's a good sign. So we can do Kami. Do we have any... probably just take the Blade Blesser, I guess. Still try and get some cheap things. We already have a couple 5-drops, so... don't want to get too expensive. Alright, we can take the Shadow Walker. Alright, Invoke Despair. So now we're seeing the black one. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. Then repeat this process for an enchantment and in Planeswalker. That's kind of cool. So you pay 5 mana at worst. They sack a creature and an enchantment. And possibly a Planeswalker. 5 mana making them sack a creature and enchantment could be kind of useful. Although 4 black is so difficult to cast. We saw Rabbit Battery already. Gloom Shrieker, 3 mana, 2/1 menace. When it enters the battlefield, return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. If it would die, if Gloom Shrieker would die, exile instead. That's an awesome card. That's so good. You get a permanent, I mean, this is so playable, it's insane. And it's an enchantment creature. So you just 3 mana, 2/1 menace. You get any permanent from your graveyard back to your hand. That's really good. It's like a Eternal Witness, but not for any card. Wow. Bronze Plate Boar, 3 mana, 3/2 Trampler. Equipped creature gets +3/+2 and has trample. And you can reconfigure, equip it basically for 5. It's a cool card. 3 mana, 3/2 Trampler's not bad either. Let's do the Lucky Offering here. Destroy an artifact with mana value 3 or less, gain 3 life. Sorcery. Definitely playable in this format. Golden Tail Disciple, it's an enchantment creature. And a 2/3 lifelinker. Moonsnare Specialist. So it's got ninjutsu, it's a 2/2, it's 4 mana on the top end. When it enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand. That's a cool card. This is extremely good. Just hard casting this and bouncing something. Super useful. And using this for ninjutsu, like as an attacker, and then bounce it back for another ninja, and then you can do it again. And that's cool. Aki Ronin, 2 mana, 1/3. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, discard a card if you do draw a card. That's a cool card. Get a rummage effect. We saw the Centipede already. I like it. Coiling Stalker, 2 mana, 2/1. It's got ninjutsu. Wow, green ninjutsu. Whenever it deals common damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control that doesn't have a +1/+1 counter on it. It's a cool card still. I mean, just as a 2 mana, 2/1 that can hit your opponent and grow itself is cool. Bamboo Grove Archer, 2 mana, 3/3. Defender Reach. And you can destroy a creature with flying with the channel cost. Not bad if you have a good late game plan. 2 mana, 3/3 blockers are still useful, especially with the reach. Moonfolk Puzzle Maker, 3 mana, 1/4 flyer. When it becomes tap, scry 1. That's cool. Good attacker with the scry bonus. Makes your card quality better. And it blocks well. Dramatis Puppet, 4 mana, 2/4. When it enters the battlefield, for each kind of counter on target permanent, put another counter of that kind on it, or remove one from it. Interesting. I'm not exactly sure how useful that is yet. I'd have to think about it. Tales of Master Shiro, 5 mana, Saga. Put a +1/+1 counter on a creature or vehicle you control. You do that twice, and then it comes back as a... Wow, 5/5 Vigilance Haste? That's really good at common. Here, do I just take the rare? Take the Invoke Despair? 4 black is tough to cast. I said that already, but I still would say it's true. I might just take it, though. I guess there's a lot of token creatures. It's not that good. We could use some more removal. I don't know if we could use more 5 mana. Hey, Turbo. I don't know what the archetypes are yet for this set. Right now, I'm just kind of learning. I think the most fun way to learn a set is to play it. But rather than like go through all the spoilers, I thought I'd go through it with you all in this like draft sim program so we can at least kind of pretend like we're drafting and start preparing for the new set. This Gloomshrieker is insane. I love that card. Especially with ninjutsu too. So you can like attack with it, bounce it back to your hand, replay it, get permanents back. Wow. Do I just want another centipede? Because it reconfigures for 2. I mean, it's not that good, I guess, but I kind of like it. Let's take the rare. It seems like one of the only invokes we've seen that actually does something so far, but I mean, 5 mana to sack a creature. Actually, never mind. This is good. Because you repeat that process. So they can't sack an enchantment, they lose 2 life and you draw. Yeah, this is never mind. This card is just straight up good. They sack a creature, they can't, they lose 2 life, you draw a card. Chances are they're going to be able to sack a creature by the time you cast this. However, if they can't sack an enchantment or a planeswalker, they lose 4 life and you draw 2 cards. Card's awesome. It's way good. All right, Ogrehead Helm, 2 mana, 2/2. Equip creature gets +2/+2. Whenever it or a creature deals combat damage to a player, you can sack it. If you do, discard your hand, draw 3. It's a cool card. Good rare. Gravelighter, 3 mana, 2/2 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card if a creature died this turn. Otherwise, each player sacks a creature. Wow. Card's really good too. Twin Shot Sniper, 4 mana, 2/3 reach. When it enters, deals 2 damage to any target. What? Or 2 mana, it deals 2 damage to any target. That card's awesome. Just comes in and kills something, or in a pinch is like a 2 mana shock effect. Seems really good. I'm just skipping cards I've already read just for time purposes. Explosive Entry, 2 mana sorcery. Destroy an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It's at least a good sideboard card. No, this is main deckable actually in this format. I think all the enchantment, artifact, destroy cards are definitely main deckable in this format. Saw that. Saw this. Spell Pierce. Wow, Spell Pierce is back. That's crazy. Wow, that is crazy. And then Reckoner Shakedown. 3 mana. Target opponent reveals their hand. Choose a non-lane card from it. They discard that card. If you don't, put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control. So, oh, I see. You can make them discard or put a counters on a... I haven't seen the spoilers either, Turbo, but from what Jeremy was saying in here, yeah, Channel is basically like Cycle, except instead of just discarding and drawing, you discard and you get whatever the Channel effect is. Which is turning out to be really good. What do I think about this Reckoner Shakedown? So usually 3 mana reveal discard effects are not that great. However, this one doubling as a buff spell does make it more useful. Iron Hoof Boar, 6 mana, 5/4 trample, haste, or 2 mana, +3/+1 and gains trample. I mean, it's useful. We saw Tales of Master Sashiro already. What am I taking here? I'm thinking about this Gravelighter. This card seems really good. I like it. Very versatile. All these cards are like super versatile. All right, Scrap Welder, 3 mana, 3/3. Sack an artifact with mana value X. Return target artifact card with mana value less than X from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Okay. If you got enough artifacts, I could definitely see that being useful. This seems more like a constructed build-around card for that effect, but 3 mana, 3/3 is always playable in red. Spinning Wheel Kick, 2 green, 2x. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each of X target creatures and/or planeswalkers. Wow. That's, So basically, 6 mana, you can make it, you can just get a 2-for-1 for 6 mana with your biggest creature. And then it only scales from there. I think spinning wheel kick's going to be pretty nuts. Spinning a wheel kick's going to be like a one-sided board wipe. Uncommon. Selfless Samurai. 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, it gains lifelink until end of turn. And then you can sack Selfless Samurai. Another target creature you control gains indestructible. Okay. It's a cool card. So it's a protection 2-drop that also can just gain lifelink for your samurais and warriors that attack alone. That's cool. Saw the Synthesizer, saw Reckoner's Bargain. Heir of the Ancient Fang, 3 mana, 2/3. Enters battlefield with +1/+1 counter on it if you control a modified creature. Okay. And we modified as equipment auras and counters. Guardians of Aboro, 3 mana, 3/4. Defender. Modified creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have Defender. That's kind of an interesting little build around, I guess. A little Defender. I don't know how many Defenders there are in this format yet, but it has Defender, so if you modify it, it can attack. It's kind of cool. And 3 mana, 3/4 blocker is not bad. Seven-Tail Mentor, 4 mana, 2/3. When it enters battlefield or dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Huh. So it comes in at worst as a 4 mana, 3/4. And then when it dies, you get another counter. It's a cool card. It's definitely useful. Voltage Surge. 1 mana. Sack an artifact. You may sack an artifact. Deals 2 damage to creature or planeswalker. If additional cost is paid, it's 4 damage instead. That's a sweet card. So it's a... Oh, it's creatures or planeswalkers only, but still very useful for limited. All right, we saw that one already. So what would I take here? Probably the Selfless Samurai. I'm liking this effect. And it's a much-needed 2-drop. 2 mana, 2/2 that can attack with lifelink by itself. Or sack it and protect another creature you control. That's cool. We saw a Rabbit Battery. Blade Blizzard Kitsune. 3 mana, 2/2. It's got ninjutsu double strike. Wow. That's cool. Double strike is good. It's weird that the ninjutsu is actually more than the casting costs. I feel like I don't see that as often. Kappa Tech Wrecker, 2 mana, 1/3. Enters the battlefield with a Death Touch counter on it. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a Death Touch counter from it. When you do, exile target artifact or enchantment that player controls. So that's a cool card. Yeah, this is definitely a good card. Because it's got ninjutsu too, so. Alright. Mashiko's Reign of Truth, 2 mana. I think we saw this one already, right? No, we didn't, actually. So target creature gets +1/+1 until in turn for each artifact and enchantment you control. Then you exile it, and it becomes in as a 0/0, +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment you control. We already have quite a few. I could see that being cool. We saw this. We saw that one. We saw this. Harmonious Emergence, 4 mana. Enchanted Land is a 4/5 green spirit creature with vigilance and haste. If Enchanted Land would be destroyed, instead sack this, and that land gains indestructible until end of turn. Okay. Yeah, so this is like a small cycle at least, but 4 mana, 4/5 vigilance haste is actually just very good, especially on a land, so you can still use it as a land too. Iron Apprentice comes in with a +1/+1 counter when it dies. Yeah, I know. It's weird seeing ninjutsu in all colors. 1 mana comes in with a +1/+1 counter. When this dies, if it had counters on it, put those counters on target creature you control. This effect is definitely useful. What would I take here? It's got to be this Mashiko's Reign of Truth. This seems like a really... This is a weird card, though, because... You don't want to play it on turn 2. So it's more of like... It's a weird card because... It's a card you want to play like mid-game, but it's only 2 mana. Either way, I think we take it. It's a cool card. It can be very strong, I think. All right, we saw the Mobilizer mech. We saw this one. Simian Sling. 1 mana, 1/1. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. When it or equipped creature becomes blocked, deals 1 damage to a defending player, and you can equip it for 2 or reconfigure it for 2. That's cool. Saw the Imperial Oath. Suit up. 3 mana. Target creature vehicle becomes an artifact. Base power and toughness 4/5. Draw a card. Cool card. So it's like a combat trick where you draw a card. I think this way more useful than the Serpentine Ambush because you draw the card. Debt to the Kami. 3 mana instant. Target opponent exiles a creature they control. Target opponent exiles an enchantment they control. Hard to go wrong. It's removal. They get to choose, but it's also exile. Papercraft Decoy. 2 mana, 2/1. When it leaves the battlefield, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. Alright, that's cool with Ninjutsu. Fang of Shigeki. 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touch. Definitely useful. And Air of Enlightenment. We already have one of those. I'm thinking we're taking Debt to the Kami because it's removal. Alright, Seismic Wave. 3 mana. 2 damage to any target. 1 damage to each non-artifact creature target opponent controls. And 1 damage to each non-artifact creature. Wow. That card's really strong. So you deal 2 damage to something, and then it'll do 1 additional damage to that thing, presumably, and each non-artifact creature they control. That's pretty slick. This is like a game-flipping removal in some instance. Reckoner's Bargain, we saw the Oath. Spell Pierce back. This is gonna change constructed for better or worse. Who knows? I like the Shrine Steward. I don't know if we have any auras though. I don't think we do. Probably take the Golden Tail Disciple here. I'm guessing. It's got lifelink. It's an enchantment creature. It's gonna help us for our artifact enchantment synergies. Raito Sentinel, 3 mana, 3/3 defender. When it enters battlefield, target player mills 3. Put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. Huh. 3 mana, 3/3 defender. When it enters, player mills 3. Put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. So it prevents you from like milling out and can get rid of their graveyard shenanigans. Weird uncommon. We saw the Enormous Energy Blade. We saw these. Saw all this. Bearer of Memory, 3 mana, 3/2. 6 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on target enchantment creature against trample until end of turn. Still good. Can permanently buff itself. And it's a 3 mana, 3/2, and it's an enchantment creature. Okay. Automated Artificer, 2 mana, 1/3. Tap, add colorless. But you can only activate an ability or cast an artifact spell with that mana. Okay, but it is an artifact creature, so I might take that. I probably do. Because we do have some artifact spells in here. And we're probably looking for more, so I'm okay with it. Just in case we need more 2-drops. Alright, so we've seen all these. Return to action, 2 mana. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+0, gains lifelink. When this creature dies, return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So these effects are typically pretty playable and limited. Protection against removal, and this buffs and gives lifelink, which is pretty good. I kind of like this decoy. Almost like I think I like the decoy more than the virus beetle. We don't have any ninjas anyway, either way. But this being colorless, I kind of like more. Alright, I'll take the decoy. I feel like it attacks well, too, actually. Plus, we need more artifacts and enchantments. Alright, so we saw Lucky Offering already. We've seen all these cards. Here, I probably take another Golden Tail Disciple, just get more lifelinkers. And they're pretty good with the reconfigure card we have, wherever that is. Chainflail Centipede. Here, guess we just take the Reckoner Shakedown because it's on color. I like this Reckoner's Bargain, actually. I would take that. Take the Apprentice. It's on technically on color. It's colorless. Take the Colossus. Somebody can have Spell Pierce. All right. Last back here. Tameshi Reality Architect. 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever one or more non-creature permanents are returned to the hand, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So non-creature permanents are returned to hand. So it doesn't work with ninjutsu because that's a creature permanent. But you can pay white and X, return a land you control to its owner's hand, return target artifact or enchantment card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card is insane. So you bounce a land, draw a card, and then you get an artifact or enchantment card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield? What? In a artifact enchantment set? It's pretty crazy. All right, Mech Hanger. Tap for colorless. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a pilot or vehicle spell. And then 3 tap, target vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end turn. This is probably a good card for the... There's going to be some cool vehicle archetypes, I would think. So we've seen the Futurist Operative. We've seen the Gloomstreaker. Commune with Spirits. 1 mana sorcery. Look at top 4 of your library. Reveal an enchantment or land. Put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Can be playable in a pinch. I typically don't have space for these cards in Limited, but there's a chance. We've seen the Centipede. Ember Keeper is a 2 mana, 2/1. Whenever a non-token modified creature you control dies, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. Non-token modified creature you control. Okay. Still pretty good for a 2 mana, 2/1 common. Cool card. Seen plenty of the Spell Pierces. Ancestral, Katana, 2 mana, equipment. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you can pay 1. You can attach the Katana to it and it gets... Wow, that's a cool card. +2, +1. It's pretty useful. You only have to pay 1 to buff it like that. It's probably pretty playable. I've seen the Pursuit. Ambitious Assault. 3 mana, instant. Creatures you control get +2, +0 until end turn. If you control a modified creature, draw a card. Okay, it's cool. For aggro decks, go all in. If you have a modified creature, you get to draw off of it too. This could end some games. We saw the Kami of Industry. This is a weird card, but at this point we do actually have some... Like, it's cool with like Searchlight Companion, but you have to sack it, which is kind of weird. And 5 mana 3/6 body in red is also kind of bizarre. Inkrise Infiltrator, 2 mana 1/2 flyer, but you can buff it. And it's a ninja. That's pretty good. Or we can do yet another Era of Enlightenment. I kind of like this Era of Enlightenment, but I mean, flyers are good too. I think since we already have... We've got some good... We've got some good synergies for it already. And the fact that it gains life, I like it. Let's take it. Satoru Umezawa, 3 mana, 2/4. Ninja. Whenever you activate a ninjutsu ability, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them in your hand. Wow. The rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Each creature card in your hand that has ninjutsu. Wow. That's a strong card. So it's just tons of card advantage. It doesn't have ninjutsu itself, though, because it has to be on the battlefield to grant that ability. But still, that's a cool card. Saw the Seismic Wave. I still think it's very good. Because it's any target, too. Yeah, that card's really good. Bronze Cudgels. 1 mana artifact equipment. Till end of turn, equipped creature gets +X +0. X's number of times this ability is resolved this turn. Equips for 1. So you just... That's +X +6. So if you use it 3 times, it gets +1, then +2, so it's plus... It's basically, if you use it, pay 6 mana, it gets +6 +0 until end of turn. It's a weird card. Dockside Chef, 1 mana 1/2, sack an artifact or a creature, draw a card. This is definitely useful. Wow. That is good. Very anti-removal. Awesome picture on that. I saw Suit Up. Saw that. Saw this. Seen all these. Sunblade Samurai. 5 mana, 4/4 Vigilance. Channel for 2. Discard it. Search your library for basic planes. Reveal it. Put in your hand. Shuffle. Gain 2 life. That's a cool card. Can ramp, or not ramp you, but find land in a pinch, or 4/4 Vigilance. This is a useful card. I would think that's useful. I'm still going to take Dockside Chef, though, just because I really like what this does. That is a good card. Wow, another Naomi. I think we might have to take that. But let's look what else is in here. Touch the Spirit Realm. 3 mana. Whenever enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target artifact creature until it leaves the battlefield. Oh, well, maybe we're taking that instead. Channel 2, discard it. Exile an artifact creature, return to the battlefield. So it's basically Oblivion Ring. And it's an enchantment. Unfortunately, I think we have to take that over Naomi. As much as I like Naomi. This is just a deal with anything card that also puts an enchantment on the battlefield. So that's pretty slick. I mean, this is like what we're trying to build around, but I'm going to take this. Probably. We haven't seen this yet, though. 4 mana. Each opponent sacks a creature unless they discard. And then it comes back as a 0/4 Menace. Animus of the Night attacks. It's +X/+0. X is the number of creature cards in defending player's graveyard. It's a cool card. Probably doesn't attack that huge that often, but it can block okay. Saw the Sunblade Samurai. I like it. Undercity. We saw all these. Futurist Sentinel. We haven't seen. 4 mana, 6/6. Crew 3. We saw the Arrest. This is useful removal as well, but I like the Oblivion Ring style one more with Mirror Box. 3 mana. The Legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. Each legendary you control gets +1/+1. Each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1. For each other creature you control with the same name as that creature. Why is there an extra rare in here? Does anybody know that? Is that a mistake? Or is this set going to have like weird rares that just kind of pop in and appear? I don't know. It's a cool card though. We only have 1 legend currently, so. And we don't have a ton of the same creature. We have some, but not enough where I think we need that. I'd probably just take Touch the Spirit Realm. Ooh, Light Paws, Emperor's Voice. 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value. Hey, Jack. Whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value less than or equal to that aura and with a different name than each aura you control. Put that card in the battlefield attached to Light Paws. That's cool. Unfortunately, I don't think we have that many auras. We have enchantments. Enchantments, but really no auras. Probably have some, just not many. So it's basically a 2 mana 2/2 in this deck. Jukai Naturalist. 2 mana, 2/2 lifelink. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That's a good card. Go Shintai of Shared Purpose. 4 mana, 1/3 Vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 if you do. Create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token for each shrine you control. Wow. That's a cool card. I like that. And then another one. 4 mana, 2/2. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 when you do destroy target creature with toughness X or less or X. What? Wow. This card is good. It's got Death Touch too, huh? I'm liking those. Golden's. Otherwise, we've read all these. All right. Ambusher, 4 mana, 3/2. Ninjutsu for 2, and it's got lifelink. All right. Well, I think we're taking one of these. And probably the one that spits out 1/1s. I mean, this is insanely strong too, but for your first shrine, it probably makes more sense to do the one that is going to be able to spit out 1/1s. Like, I don't think you're going to... There's probably not that many X1s you're going to be able to kill with this, but... Gosh, this is very strong. I mean, do we even have any X1s? I guess we do. Maybe we just take it. It's kind of cool. Skyblessed Samurai, 7 mana, 4/4. Costs 1 less to cast for each enchantment you control. It's got flying. Got plenty of enchantments. Saw all this. Saw that. 2 mana 1/1. When it enters, draw. That's a cool card. It's an enchantment creature too, and it's a doggy. Interest battlefield tap. Choose a color. Okay. It's okay. Return to action. We saw that. All right, what am I taking here? I could see taking the Skyblessed Samurai. In our deck, I feel like this is going to be pretty cheap, actually. And 4/4 flyer is pretty legit. We've got quite a few enchantments at this point. Some sagas and all sorts of good stuff. Or I could take the Spirited Companion because it's a cheaper. It's hard to go wrong with. They're both enchantment creatures too. I guess I'll take the Companion. It's hard to go wrong with 2 drops that come in and draw you a card. Lethal Exploit. Probably taking that. Removal. Brute Suit we haven't seen before. 3 mana 4/3 Vigilance. Crew 1. And another Chain Flail Centipede. Dragonfly Suit, 3 mana, 3/2. Flying Crew 1. That's good too. That is cool. Probably just take the Lethal Exploit, get the removal. Nezumi Prowler, 2 mana, 3/1. It's got ninjutsu for 2. When it enters, target creature you control gains Death Touch and Lifelink until in turn, and it's an artifact creature. That's pretty good. Saw the Clawing Torment already. We have some good things we want to bounce already, though, now. The Spirited Companion. That's going to be great with ninjutsu. We've got the... There's another one that I'm forgetting. Oh, the Decoy. That's a cool one because it leaves. So you ninjutsu, you bounce, you pay 2, you draw. It's cool. Good argument to take. Ooh, what's this do? 2 mana, 2/2, ninjutsu 2. Ninjutsu abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate. And it's a... Oh, it's a Splinter card. Other ninja and rogue creatures you control get +1/+1. Cool. Well, let's take the Prowler. Born to Drive, 3 mana. Enchant artifact creature. As long as enchant permanent is a creature, it gets +1/+1 for each creature and or vehicle you control. Channel for 3. Discard it. Create 2 1/1 colorless pilot creature tokens with this creature cruise vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. Huh. So it's like a huge buff spell that you can channel and make instant speed 2 dudes. I mean, this is pretty useful, actually. Even if you don't have vehicles, just flashing out some 1/1s sometimes is pretty useful. Or buffing something huge is useful, so. Tamiyo's Safekeeping, 1 mana instant. Target permanent you control gains hexproof and indestructible until in turn you gain 2 life. That's a cool card. Very anti-removal. And just a combat trick. Another Lethal Exploit. Thinking about that. Probably just keep taking the exploits because we can kill things. Centipede. Infiltrator. I mean, we want artifacts and enchantments. It's like thematically what we're going for here. And I kind of like this Chain Flail Centipede anyway. Infiltrator's cool too, though. But I'm going to take Centipede. Disciple versus Bargain. We kind of already have a Bargain. Maybe I'll just take another Disciple. Wow, we got Naomi back. That would be pretty fortunate. Light Pause is just not that good for us. We don't have the auras to support it. All right. Let's deck build, huh? We have a good amount of artifacts. I could see possibly doing this. Probably don't need the Apprentice. I don't think we need that. I kind of like that Dragonfly suit, though. 4 Golden Tail Disciples, huh? All right. 3 lethal exploits. Oh, this is supposed to be the deck over here. Whoops. I kind of like looking at it like this. So we have 36 cards. Hey, we only have to make 13 cuts. I think we gotta figure that out. We want to stick to basically all artifacts and enchantments for Naomi synergies. Actually, I kind of like that card. It's got flying too. It's pretty good. Got a severe case of way too many good things deck going here. Probably ditch that. Maybe we don't need all these Golden Tail Disciples. Got plenty of 3-drops in here. So I need to make 3 more cuts. Somehow we've managed to make it a pretty difficult choice here, huh? It's a cool card. I mean, this only kills X1s in our deck on its own. It also has Death Touch, though. I like this because it draws. It's a pretty decent body. But yeah, there's pretty good removal in here. We've got the Lethal Exploits. We have the Invoke Despair, which is way better than it is than I originally read it as. Still have to find 3 more cuts somewhere. Maybe the Papercraft Decoy, because we don't have that much ninjutsu for it. It is a 2-drop though, but... And I really don't want to cut artifacts. I can afford to cut enchantments more than artifacts. I could see maybe cutting this, but the fact that it's just sometimes for free kills things, that seems really good to me, even if it's just an X1. Oh yeah, Grave Lighters, some removal too. Sometimes. I like this. I feel like this is potentially very good. But basically because we have a lot of auras. How many actual artifacts do I have? I mean, way less artifacts than enchantments. Maybe one more Golden Tail Disciple, and I like it. Just I'm looking for cuts. I feel like I should probably cut one more. Guess that Searchlight Companion. Wow, that was a tough deck to build. I think this looks pretty good though. Good removal. We've got the Naomi spit out Samurais all day. Yeah, how do I do the curve? Sort? CMC. Here we go. Yeah, I like it. Spirit Sister's Call seems like a pretty interesting card. If you have good Into the Battlefield effects, it's very good. So we have Into the Battlefield effects here. We have it with Gravelighter. We have it with Spirited Companion, Prowler. You can only do it at your instep though. But you get it back permanently until it leaves again. But you get to like swap it. It's kind of cool. All right. Well, I plan on doing this over the next couple of days here. We're getting close to game time here, everybody. Getting close to Kamigawa time, and this is super helpful for me to do it with y'all because we can learn the new format together. Gives me a little bit of a head start so I don't have to read as many cards. And I enjoy doing this. It's kind of fun. So I will be doing this for the next 3 days. Kamigawa, I believe, for Arena is coming out on the 10th, which would be 4 days. In the meantime, I've got Crimson Vow drafts that are going to be coming out every day, obviously, until that point. And, yeah, then we'll start popping out some Kamigawa drafts, which I'm excited about. Do y'all have any questions? Or anything I should be thinking about? Any synergies I'm overlooking that are going to be awesome in this format? Any thoughts on the mechanics or anything like that? Are you guys stoked for Kamigawa? Not stoked? Not stoked? Stoked. Yeah, Jack, I kind of have a sickness. So I think at this point, I've basically put out a video every day for over a year now, which is, now it's like I can't miss a day for my own like OCD sickness. Like, there's no way that I could miss a day now. I couldn't forgive myself if I like didn't put up a draft video on a day now. So it's gotten to that point. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked too, Ben. I'm hopeful, you know. And like I say in my Crimson Vow drafts, I didn't hate Crimson Vow. It was probably the worst rare set design I've ever seen. But as far as like, you know, the commons and uncommons went, I thought it was actually pretty well designed mechanically for that. It's kind of always hard to, yeah. It's kind of always hard to predict what the shortcomings of a set are going to be. I think we knew ahead of time that Crimson Vow rares, there were some that were problematic. I mean, you could just look at the set and be like, what? This card's way too good. Do any of you see or envision some short-sighted stuff about this set? Can you keep chaining ninjutsu? That's another question I have. So say you attack and a creature's unblocked and you ninjutsu. Can you ninjutsu that creature too? Because it's tapped and attacking and unblocked. So can you just like keep ninjutsuing? There's got to be a way that you can't do that, right? You couldn't just like keep pumping your mana into ninjutsu. Hey, Theo. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because I'm thinking if you can keep chaining ninjutsu, it's not like it's busted, but can you keep getting like enter the battlefield effects? Like if you have two ninjutsu creatures in hand, you ninjutsu the first one, then you can ninjutsu that one, and just keep doing back and forth. It seems too good. But maybe you can do it. I really don't know. Yeah, I guess it makes sense, Ryan. So like you have a Prowler and you have some other into the battlefield ninjutsu creature. You can just keep chaining them, so you can keep doing it for 2 mana with this. Every time this enters, you can give something else Death Touch and Lifelink. I mean, it's not busted, but it's just weird. This looks like it'd be a fun deck to play. All right, well, I wish I could stick around longer. I'm going to be done with school soon. I know I said that last time, but I should be done. Yeah, there's a lot of choices. Look how many cards have choices. Just in this deck alone. Comes in. Would you rather draw a card when something dies, or would you rather each player sacks a creature? Would you rather have a 2/2 that attacks as a 4/2, or equip it and have something else get buffed? Would you rather... thought there were some other ones too. Would you like all the channel cards? Would you rather get the channel effect, or would you rather have it enter and do something? This is going to be a pretty complicated set, I think. Which usually is a good thing. Complicated sets are usually more fun. Maybe I'm speaking out of my butt on that one. I mean, it also depends on the set. Like, what if the set has a bunch of bad, overpowered synergies in it? Then it's probably not good if it's too complicated. I don't know. I just have a good feeling about it. But I'll be doing these for the next couple mornings, so tune in to the Seems Good streams if you want to see it. Looking forward to it. Thanks y'all for stopping out today. I know it's been a while since I streamed last. It's probably been a couple months, but I'm hopeful that I'll be able to do a lot more streaming. in the near future here by the end of April when I'm done with school. So that'll be fun. All right. Take her easy, folks. Have a good afternoon. I'll be back.